I want to know what you were gonna say about fucking pies and shit. Like,
Pies.
Yeah, you were, bro. You were on this whole thing. You're
Pies.
like, I can't. Yes, apple pies from fucking McDonald's.
Oh
my God. Mercy, mercy.
Fart on me.
There it is.
That's the way that love should be, baby. You're the only one I see. So mercy, mercy, fart on me. That was a fun day.
Beautiful. Yeah, that was mostly you and DJ. I had a dream last night
was.
that DJ was jacked, which is wild.
That would be wild.
DJ Jack. It sort of like works
Looks
because
like
he's got all these
from Always Sunny.
Yeah, he's got all these tattoos and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But it was wild. He was ready to whoop somebody's ass too in the dream. I can't remember why. But anyway, welcome back, Airheads. We're already here. We've already started. We're already queer. Putting on airs. Let's do it. We don't ever not. Anyway, this last time I just started talking and partner didn't stop. And then there was so much you wanted to say, and I just steamrolled all that. So this week you gonna go first
again
with This Week in Fancy. Now, This Week in Fancy. Let's start out with it. Like I said last week, it just feels appropriate to me. It feels like an opening segment. So catch me up.
Just so you know, and also like I don't mind giving a little behind the scenes how the sausage is made thing. Like you were really upset. Like you were like when I got to the end, I was like, "Here's This Week in Fancy." You were like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. God damn, dude, I fucked the whole thing up." Meanwhile, I was just like, "Guess who don't have to prepare next week?" You know what I mean? Like I was fucking stoked. Anytime I can push any of the shit that I do off on the next week, I love it so much. But if you hadn't have done that, I mean, we would have lost so much in the way of that Albanian story, which I've told all of my friends that don't listen to Putting on Airs because they're my friends and they would never, you know what I mean? They can't, like our show would hit for them if it wasn't me on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know how that be. But yeah, I do have a couple things. I want to start off with this because this actually is this week in fancy history. Now, obviously, today as we're recording, it's 9/11, which
it's 9/11 somewhere.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't know if you saw this in the thread, but I made the point, and it's so funny because I realized it today. And you remember the last time we recorded, I've been like going through a bout of depression and anxiety for 2 weeks, and today I snapped out of it. Like, isn't that the most hilarious?
Something about today makes me want to frolic through the wildflowers with a smile on my face and know that all is right with the world on this particular day, September the 11th.
It's, you know what I think it is? It's like we got so much bullshit going on in the world that when I'm reminded of stuff that was bad that happened 24 years ago, I'm like, that's still better by comparison somehow.
Well, I mean, at what point you think, like, what's the threshold for? Because people I don't feel like the vast majority of people acknowledge December 7th.
No,
really.
It's a day, it's an infamy, but really is it? Because like,
no, I mean, people know that that's the day, but like on that day, no one is like,
God damn.
Listen, you can't hit today. It's illegal to hit today. You got to be somber and respectful. Right. You can't laugh. You can't fart. You can't get your dick hard. You can't hit at all, or it would be disrespectful to the fallen.
Right.
Nobody does that on December 7th, and it's definitely fading on September 11th too. But like, at what point will anyone even?
Patrice O'Neal had that great bit about how he's like, one day September 11th is going to be a burger and hot dog thing. You know what I mean? Like it will eventually get there. And I can't remember if he said this in the bit, but I remember at the time when he did that bit, I was working at an inflatable company. You know, those people that like for kids' birthdays, they put up the inflatable and stuff.
A bouncy house?
Yeah, bouncy house.
You worked for a bouncy house company?
I was the bouncy house man.
Of course you were. This is one of those things. Never heard that. I've known you for 15 years, whatever. Never knew that was a thing. It makes all the sense in the world, and yet it's never come up. Yeah, how long were you the bouncy house man? A couple weeks? Two weeks?
No. Me and my buddy Matt, who it was his family, it was his uncle's company. Like his uncle invested in a bunch of these things, and just like was like, hey, I got all these, so if y'all ever have a party, I'll bring them there, and you can pay me money.
Did you ever see me do my bouncy house bid? I can't.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
One of my very first bits I ever had as a baby comic was about bouncy. There at some bouncy house.
I thought that I told you then that I worked on bouncy houses.
Maybe you did that far back, and I just didn't remember. But yeah, some bouncy house had gotten swept off in the wind. And there's a
TV show about it right now.
What do you mean about that?
Yes, I thought about you. There's a
scripted TV show or a true crime show? What are you talking about? They made a whole scripted TV show about the bouncy house incident?
About kids getting a bouncy house floating off with children in it. I promise you. It's on Netflix.
Channel?
It's on Netflix. Look it up right now.
Like who? What's it called?
If I dream, I've bouncy house children. I don't know. If I dreamed this, I don't know. I'm saying look it up. Just bouncy house.
It's kids Netflix show.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And
the accident. The Netflix series. The accident is about a bouncy castle that goes airborne during a birthday party, killing 3 children and devastating a community.
Uh-huh. Am I wrong?
What? I'll be goddamn.
Dude, by the way, God damn it. I know
maybe I can bring that bit back now that this is
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Dude, I wish can you play you think you can play the trailer without us getting in trouble?
I don't know how any of that works.
Look, somebody put the first scene on Twitter, and it was like me and you shot it. It's so stupid.
Right. I see some headlines saying that has gone viral. Because it's, I guess it don't play the way they want it to play.
I thought it was Tubi. You know what I mean? Like when I first saw the video, I was like, this is Tubi. And they were like, now on Netflix. And I was like, what the fuck? They wouldn't pick up my special? Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, my whole point with the bouncy house situation was that when we were working for that company, the most expensive thing that you could get, the attraction that like you really loved your kids if you got this thing. What do you think it was? What inflatable was it?
Okay, these are all bouncy houses, and there's just different kinds of bouncy houses.
There's different kinds of some of them are slides. So picture that. Some of them are slides. Some of them are slides that at the bottom bounce. You jump off of them and they're slides.
I don't know. Back then, I don't know. SpongeBob?
Titanic. The Titanic.
What?
The Titanic. It was the biggest one. It was the hardest, and it was the Titanic, but it was lopsided. So it was like you're jumping off the Titanic.
Oh, I've seen those. Water. I've seen those.
And I remember when that Patrice bit came out, I had that same thought about like, bro, like thousands of people died during this, and now children are just like, woo! We're on the and I think I even did something on stage like, at what point is there going to be inflatable twin towers that our children jump off of backwards? And I remember someone was like, that's not the same, and I was like, it is though. Like
it is.
What's there's no difference except for one of them was like done to us, but both of them were done to people who didn't want it to happen.
It's like it doesn't matter. It's like the thing I brought up before forever ago on Well Read, but I'm pretty sure recently with a guest on this show too, I brought it up. The idea that like there's a mall food court chain of restaurants called the Genghis Grill, and it's a Mongolian grill, and there's this little cartoon Genghis Khan with like a.
You know who we're talking about today?
Genghis Khan. I remember you mentioning that he might come up. Genghis. But anyway. Big Genghis. Anyway,
Bugs Bunny.
And I thought when I saw that, all those. By the way, that restaurant hits. Just so everybody knows.
But imagine Hitler's strudels.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought, and what I asked on Well Read and brought up on here was exactly that. Like, at what point?
Well, why
will there be a little cartoon Hitler?
Right.
On a strudel shop or something. Because you think about it, and you're like, there's no way that could ever happen. But dude, Genghis Khan went hard. I mean, he annihilated
10% of the country, of the world.
Yeah, right.
Okay. We're gonna listen. We're talking about Genghis Khan later, but while we're here, because this directly relates to something I had in my notes. I got my pen out like I'm John Madden. Here's a guy aligned to Genghis Khan here, and then fucking all the kids are here, and he came on them. I was thinking about how like I see all these. So when I was doing my research for Genghis Khan, I go to my normal places like the Encyclopedia Britannica, Wikipedia, then double check everywhere, whatever the fuck. But I also watch like YouTube videos and listen to podcasts and stuff. And almost every one that there is out there is titled something to the effect of Genghis Khan great leader or madman? And I'm like, what do you mean or?
Right.
You know what I mean? What do you mean or? Both. He's both. Like the word, like dude, you can't do what he did that I'm going to talk about later and not be great at it, but also you can't not be mad. But like there's so many people that still revere him just for his greatness. And because it was so long ago, people are like, well, you know, like with Hitler, it's like we got people that just died last year that lived under his bullshit. You know what I mean? But Genghis Khan was a long time ago, so it's a long time to romanticize this bullshit. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, do you think in 2,000 years there's going to be people being like, man, I'll tell you what, Alan fucking Greenspan and Dick Cheney, those guys, I'll tell you what, man, fucking ruthless leaders, but god damn it, son, they were tacticians, boy.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think either of them hit hard enough on that type of historical
get what I'm saying,
scale.
Though.
I mean, bro,
you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, well, Hitler, you know, I mean, like,
I think Greenspan,
like you said, there's still people alive who, you know, Hitler killed people or whatever, but I mean, I'm saying, what is the time frame? What is it? I mean, people are already starting to flirt with Hitler hitting. Yeah, right, exactly.
Dude, it's
right
now.
And
it's now.
And we're not even 100 years removed from it yet. So you telling me in 300-400 years he won't be kind of a meme or something? Because I bet he probably will, and it's crazy, but I bet it happens.
They really just Google when the last World War II soldier died, because I swear to God, they waited till that motherfucker died and they started talking about how Hitler hits.
You see this?
Yeah, that's in Japan, right?
No, it's in Karachi, Pakistan. Apparently, it's a very popular store and brand. It's called Hitler Reloaded, which is not as...
That's a Michael Bay movie!
Right, not as cutesy as the Genghis Grill cartoons. A little more hardcore, but also perhaps more on brand, I suppose. But
right.
Yeah, a little edgelordy. But apparently over there in like Southeast Asia and stuff, they barely even know about Hitler, or at least that's their excuse. They're like, who? He did what? Oh, wow. We didn't know.
That just made me think of the Chris, when they're eating there, that made me think of the Chris Rock bit when he was talking about rappers being misogynistic and the girl being like, he ain't talking about me. Slap him with a dick. Slap him with a dick.
Yeah. Blind the bitch. Blind the bitch.
Yeah. Anyways, so the reason I was even talking about 9/11 is because I was talking about anniversaries that were this week. And also another anniversary we're celebrating this week is it's been a year since Queen Elizabeth died. She didn't die on 9/11. She died September 8th. But this week is the 1-year anniversary of Elizabeth's death. So because of that, I was like, I bet there's some Queen of England shit in the news right now. And there is. And it's really funny.
So hang on. You asked me this, so I'm going to tell you. I guess they check this. They update this every September 30th, which makes sense because September 30th is the end of the government's fiscal year. I know I used to work for the government. So the VA keeps track of this, but they update it every September 30th, which is in 19 days from right now. So like keeping that in mind, as of last September 30th, almost a full year ago, there were 119,550 surviving World War II veterans.
Really?
Which is wild.
That's a lot.
It sounds like a lot. That's less than 1% of veterans who survived, which obviously that makes sense. The median age of the ones that are still left is 98 years old.
Right.
So
either way, it checks out. It's like they know that those dudes they're ready to check out. And they're like, let's go ahead and start prepping the Hitler was fine shit because we won't have anybody that was there to be like, Rah!
It's wild. I think I've thought about that many, many times watching World War II movies or like Band of Brothers or whatever. The fact that like they're almost all gone. Like within
sad.
5 years, they'll all be gone. There won't be none left.
And when we were kids, that was a big deal to talk to one of those guys.
And it's wild. I'm saying like when because I rewatched Saving Private Ryan recently. In the credits and shit or in the special feature, I remember they talked to some of them. They
they do that. Yeah, the real guys.
And those are real guys. I was thinking like in 1998 when that movie came out, and I was 12, but back then they were 70 something.
They were old
just
as
fuck. But they were just regular papaws. Do you know what I mean?
Like that regular was 30 years ago.
There was tons of them still around. A lot of them probably still work. They were just regular old papaws,
Right.
When we were kids, like they were around motherfuckers that fought Nazis.
We old now.
And I don't think you're wrong at all that like as they are fewer and fewer of them are around, more and more people are coming out and being like, you know what? The Nazis didn't not hit.
Because dude, I promise you this.
Ridiculous.
Number one, now that I'm nearing 40, the number 70 doesn't seem as old to me. And I promise you this, in the 90s, there was plenty of 70-year-old World War II papaws that would still wear yo ass out. That would, you know what I'm saying? Because like there's when you're in a fight, there's something to be said about like sheer will, and I'm not going to let this happen to me. And a 70-year-old fucking World War II motherfucker who stared down Hitler and gas bombs and shit, let him. Remember when fucking Buzz Aldrin or whatever punched that motherfucker for saying the moon landing was fake? That was a year ago, like last week or something. But like, yeah, let a 70-year-old fucking, even in a goddamn wheelchair, papaw, hear you say something about how Hitler hit, and watch him somehow crow hop in that chair and light yo ass up. Ain't fucking happening. But now they're all fucking eating applesauce in a nursing home, so all these fucking queers are out here just being like, Hitler fucking hits. He wasn't wrong about this. Fucking bullshit, son. And now 9/11 of all days.
When we were kids, Vietnam vets was people's drunk uncles, you know,
right?
Had PTSD.
They were our age now,
but they drove They drove fucking Camaros and shit, right? And midlife crisis,
and like
getting
around a lot.
Getting their second divorce, fucking growing their hair out and smoking weed and screaming in the night. But
dude, 1980
but now they're the papaws. They're
1980 was almost 50 years ago, bro. Like it is crazy thinking about how like when I was a kid.
And you said they're our age now. That's true. I mean, like if me and you had been, we're just not veterans, but we are we had a bunch of friends that fought in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they're like the Vietnam vets of this era, and now we're people's drunk uncles.
I know.
It's wild. Time, man.
Time don't hit.
Time keeps on slipping.
Now, I like this is off subject a little bit, but like I think about it all the time in terms of like when I was a kid listening to Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin was closer in time to me than if a kid today is listening to Fastball. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking crazy.
Y'all, you think about your metabolism much? If you don't, you should. It's kind of everything. You know how metabolisms be? Yep. All right.
Go ahead. Hey, our metabolism works better than my fingers, Trae. Tell them all about it from our friends.
Sounded like you postute for a second there. Anyway, we're talking about metabolism because we got a new hidden sponsor for y'all called Lumen. What is Lumen? Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. All right. So, and on the app, it then lets you know whether you're currently burning fat or burning carbs, which gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. All you got to do, you breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fat or mostly carbs. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on those measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and do that with meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body at any time in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Cho, tell them more.
Dude, it's really great. So I got mine right here. And basically the only thing it don't do is start my car. You know what I'm saying? And here's the deal. What's great about this is like, I never knew there was a time when my body was like, well, we're working on this now. We're shoveling coal so that you can burn off the carbs. And what's great about that is like, I feel like so many people in the past couple years have been just like convinced that bread is their enemy. Like if you want to lose weight, you can't eat bread. But like, A, that's not true anyways. But B, there are times when your body is burning carbs and it's like it makes sense for you to go ahead and have them mashed potatoes and bread. Like you can actually do it. And it's crazy because like depending on what I've done that day or what I did the day before, my readout is different. You know what I mean? Like if I got a big workout the day before, it might say something different. So like having that individual plan for each day, knowing what your body needs that day is so much better than having just a blanket, this is what you should do every week, because like you don't know. And, you know, your metabolism is your body's engine. Like that is how we go. And so you need to keep that in check. And thankfully, science is letting us do that. And Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health with each breath. You just breathe into this. There's an app and it'll tell you you're burning carbs, you're burning fat. Here's what you should be eating today. And it's simple. Like you just get told. I love being told what to do. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Because like I'm an idiot. Me and Trae are both idiots. So if you're an idiot, no, I'm kidding. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/POA to get 15% off your Lumen. This sweet little thing right here. That's LUMEN.me/POA for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. And also thank you for telling me every day what I should and shouldn't eat and can eat, because it's really improved my life. Thanys. Anyways, Also, this week, a year ago, Queen Elizabeth died, and it's a thing has happened that's pretty hilarious, and I thought that I would share it with you here, Trae. The statue of the Queen derided as looking more like Mrs. Doubtfire. Are you seeing this?
I do say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mockery.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
This is a really British headline, by the way. Mockery and indignation follow unveiling of sculpture. That's not how it would be written in America.
I feel like that statue right there ain't got shit on like that Cristiano Ronaldo bust that was infamous. And yeah, there was another one that was really famous too.
She kind of looks better here, if I'm being honest. It's not like nobody wanted to fuck the Queen. You know what I mean?
God damn, dude. Yeah, right. No, so
what?
Okay, no, I'm laughing at this. I found the thing. I'm going to show it to everybody if you have it. So, yeah, like that one there. I mean, I get the Mrs. Doubtfire comparisons, but it wasn't egregious. But look at this, dude. Can you see that?
But dude, honestly, now that I think about it, Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire doesn't look worse than the Queen of England.
I know what. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
like she, you know,
Ronaldo. Like, look at his eyes.
I mean, yeah, he looks like a
Charlie
Neanderthal or something.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like, I don't know. I mean, it don't hit.
No,
I guess they finally replaced it and fixed it. And that's, look, I mean, it's a good change.
That's the Chad meme.
It's a good change.
It's like, dude.
Well, I mean, Ronaldo, he is definitely a Chad.
For sure.
Right? But dude, no doubt about that.
Isn't it crazy? Like, think about, okay, me and you are people who are often contracted to do work for people, whether it be making a video, writing a thing, whatever. And we get paid, not as much as whoever got paid to do the bronze sculpture of fucking Ronaldo, probably. Imagine doing that and going, yep.
This is it.
Here you go. Here you go. Yeah.
It's funny to imagine that it was some kind of mistake, like a procedural mistake, like they picked the wrong guy, you know what I mean, or something. And because it's like, I don't know how anyone who normally hits could not hit that much.
You picked the hittingest person.
You know? Exactly. I know. That's what I'm saying. So maybe they like called the wrong guy. You know what I mean? They're like,
you mean
like their names are different by one letter or something. Like when,
when Bill Murray,
the story that Bill Murray, exactly. For y'all that don't know, Bill Murray, and I don't believe it, but it's funny though. It's very funny.
I want to believe it.
The guy that wrote Garfield is named Joel Cohen. It's pronounced Cohen, but it's Cohen. Joel Cohen. And Bill Murray, the way he works very famously is like he ain't even got an agent or nothing. There's a phone number you can call. There's a phone number you can call and you leave a voicemail and you pitch Bill Murray on your ideas. So you call him and you say, we got this movie, we want you to do this, whatever. You leave it, and he listens to the voicemails or his assistant does or whatever. And then he'll call you back if he wants to do it. And that's the only way he operates.
I can't wait.
So he got this offer from this movie, and he knew it was about Garfield, but it was written by Joel Cohen. And he was like, well, the Cohen brothers are incredible. I don't know why they would touch Garfield, but they must have some interesting ideas. And so he agreed to do it and then got there and met the guy. It was just some totally different Jewish man named Joel Cohen who, doesn't hit.
Right. Well, there's also Hollywood.
There's also Joel and Ethan Cohen are the Cohen brothers. Then there's Joel Cohen, who's a trash monger. God bless him. I'm all for monger and trash.
Good for him. Yeah.
Then there's Etan, E-T-A-N, Ethan Cohen. So almost Ethan Cohen, but off by an H. He also is a writer, but he kind of sort of hits. He's written stuff that hit. He ain't on the Cohen brothers level, but
it's not that surprising.
It's not that surprising because I mean it's a Jewish name.
Yeah, of course.
It's like for anybody that listens to Skew, Smart Mark had no idea the Cohen brothers were Jewish and was astounded by that when he found out, which is
what a fucking idiot. What a Smart Mark, my ass.
The smartest dude I know could still be a total dumbass.
It's
at times,
so funny, dude.
Evidently. But,
well, hey, I do have several more things, but I'm going to show this.
I want to know what you were gonna say about fucking pies and shit. Like
pies?
Yeah. You were on this whole thing. You're like, I can't. Yes, apple pies from fucking McDonald's.
Oh
my God. Okay.
Oh yes, okay. I'm sorry.
Because last week you were like, I can't get into it, Trey. I don't have enough time to get into it. But you're
right.
and then this week comes and you just never bring it up at all.
Okay. Well, dude, first off, you know me. I can easily have a day where something happens to me and I was like, this is the greatest atrocity that has ever been lobbied against me, and then forget about it the next day. But you said pie, like McDonald's would have been the key word for me. Like, you know how many pie-related things have happened to me since that? A lot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I stay having pie.
Right.
Listen, okay. The reason I think this fits the show is because it is blatant and corrupt fucking tax evasion by McDonald's and all these fucking corporations. Before I even get into it, everybody knows, don't you fucking dare. I sound like Joe Rogan right now. I understand. But, like, don't you, when a fucking company asks you, would you like to round up to the fucking, don't fucking do it, okay? And I don't. And I used to because I've always been the person, like, you remember that meme where it's like, quiet men, why do y'all marry the loud bitch? And it's like, because I didn't order mashed potatoes, but I ain't telling the waitress that. I've always been that guy where I'm like, I'm just going to go along with everything because I don't want to fucking fight. So whenever anybody in the drive-thru would be like, would you like to round up to the nearest dollar to support the Taco Bell Foundation? I would just go, yes, because I thought by saying no, they would think that I sucked. But then somebody was like, by the way, you know all this happening is that my dad's the one that told me this, which was a long time ago, and I still was like, I'll do it. It's like all they're doing is they're taking all that money, they're making this big contribution, they're getting to write off their taxes, and you're paying for it. And so after that, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And you know what? The guy behind the register, he don't give a shit. He don't get that fucking money. He don't give a shit. So that's how I've always been. Until the other day at McDonald's. When they flipped the fucking script and brought the fucking cashier into it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Manipulation of the greatest order. This motherfucker, he goes, I'm sitting there and I was like, okay. Just so everybody knows, I've been a wreck for my whole life, really, but the past 2 months or 2 weeks, a lot. So the other day, I was like in a mood, and I was like, the only thing that's going to solve anything is a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. By the way, I understand that the double cheeseburger from McDonald's ain't the best double cheeseburger on earth. And yes, I have enough money to get the best double cheeseburger on earth, but sometimes it's that fake that do it. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, but it's only for me ever like Taco Bell specifically.
Taco Bell.
I don't get that for McDonald's, but that may be because my kids, of course, love McDonald's. So we have for you. It's just that I have McDonald's so much, I'm never in a place like, man, I got to have me some McDonald's. But like Taco Bell, I do.
We're not that way with Bane yet. Now the week before it was McDonald's because Amber and me had a fight, like a legit fight, because she's trying to do better, right? And I'm trying to do worse. Right. And so I was like, I came downstairs, I'd been editing stuff, and I was like, baby, listen, I love you. We're going to watch our show, but I got to go to fucking Taco Bell and wreck my shit first. And she was like, no, don't go to Taco Bell. And I was like, why? She goes, because I'm trying to do better. And I was like, then I'm not going to get you anything. And she's like, but if you get something and you sit here and eat it in front of me, then I'm going to want it. So you'll have to get me something. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going. Like, do you want me to eat it there? Do you want me to eat it in the parking lot? Because this is happening. I need a fucking chalupa with nacho cheese all over it. She's like, but I'm trying to do better. And I'm like, try harder, bitch. Because I'm fucking, you know what I mean? Anyways, so I'd already done the Taco Bell one. But this McDonald's, it's their burgers or their buns will be here longer than the roaches. It's horrible for me. I'm aware of that. Kim Casado, shut the fuck up. But sometimes when you're depressed, you need that fake. So I go there and I'm like, they're like, they're like, will you be earning any rewards with us today? And I was like, no, shut up. I want a double cheeseburger, add mayonnaise. That's it. They're like, would you like to? I'm like, I want a double cheeseburger, add mayonnaise. That's it. And then the dude's like, hey, bro, would you add an apple pie? Because if you do, I get entered into a contest to win a trip to Disney. And like, I've never been to Disney. And I was like, fuck. So I did, because it's about him now. You know what I mean? It's about him, which I know it is. All McDonald's is saying, like, we're trying to sell more apple pies through add-ons. And now it's this sob story from this fucking guy, which, like, the thing is when I heard that, I was like, I want this guy to go to Disney World because he works at McDonald's and I might be the only chance this fucker has. So I did it. But I think that is fucking bullshit. That is extortion. You know what I mean? You're playing with my fucking feelings because you can't pay this motherfucker more money so he can maybe go to Disney World without hawking your fucking apple pies, which was dog shit, by the way. Their apple pies have fallen so far. That's what
no, that don't hit, but they've been, when I was a server almost 20 years ago, whenever that was, not quite 20 years ago yet, but we're getting there. When I was a server at O'Charlie's corporate chain restaurant almost 20 years ago, they made us do stuff like that. There'd
be contest. To give them your sob story?
Well, not a sob. It was a contest where it's like we had to sign people up, get people to sign up with their email address, just as one example, get people to give their email addresses to get on O'Charlie's mailing list, and whoever on the staff got the most won a thing, and we could tell them that's like, hey, we're having a little contest. I know, but it's still like
it's different though.
It's still a thing that people don't want to do,
Of course not.
But like upselling, I'm just saying upselling, like the cashier upselling you on some kind of rewards program or loyalty shit or sign up for our credit card and all that type of stuff.
But
has been going on for years and years. I know because I've hated it for so long. Like I've hated it.
I know all about the give me your number, do this. I work for Hibbett Sports. I remember the give me your number shit, but I'm not fucking. No money is being exchanged here.
Sometimes there are. A lot of times there are. It's like it's sign up for this credit card that we have, a store card or whatever that has a fee on it and shit. It's not always free stuff. It's not always just give me your cell phone number. But sometimes it's shit you got to pay for.
Yeah, well, that don't hit. Upselling is fine, but I'm saying is it's unethical for the. And by the way, I'm not mad at this dude who works at McDonald's because good for whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying as a company, it's unethical for you to allow your employees to give their sob story to trick me into getting an apple pie. When I was working at Hibbett Sports, we were incentivized to upsell, but I never once went to somebody and went, by the way, at the end of the month, they check the IPS, which is items per sale. So if you got some laces, it would really help me out. I'm just like, don't you think you need some laces? And if they say no, I go, good deal. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, don't manipulate motherfuckers' emotions when they're already so emotional because they're in line at a McDonald's.
I think the thing that's even more egregious than all that is that every single service and retail establishment and everything in this country has a tip option. Now. It's like, and look, I've always bitched about people not tipping because, again, I was a server. But, bro, when I was a server, I made $2 an hour. $2 an hour, literally. Like, it ain't the same. Jobs that paid, like retail jobs and shit, and they didn't hit either, but they made 4 or 5 times as much per hour than I did as a server. And now all of those jobs, too, are also, they spin the little tablet around and there's a tip thing on it. It's like it's out of control. The big businesses in this country, I don't know where the breaking point is going to be, but it has to come at some point because between all this stuff, them trying to get more and more people to pay more and more of their employees' salaries while they're also gouging prices on things because they know that people will pay it because the economy is actually pretty fucking good. Not to get into politics, but people have more money and they know it, so they charge more for shit that they're not spending anymore on, and they're just raking in record profits, and they're getting away with every bit of it, but there has to be some kind of breaking point somewhere where people are going to be like, man, fuck this shit.
Well, I hope what I just said was at the anthem for for the fucking rally, because it's bullshit, man. And no, I mean, I'm with you. Yeah, dude, again, like, they're just like, it pisses me off when it's like Taco Bell paid, they supported so many charities this year. It's like, no, they didn't. We did. We did because we're too big of cowards to say no when they go, do you want to round up that 17 cents? And it's like, dude, do I need 17 cents? I don't need 17 cents. I don't need 17 cents. But you know who else don't? The fucking CEO of Taco Bell. So give me my fucking 17 cents, you fucking prick.
My question for that one is, does that money actually get to the charity they say that it's going to at the end of the day?
See, that's the thing.
Because
probably not, but either way, it's fucked up. It's their own charity, though. It's their own charity.
I know it's like I could just give it straight to that charity and write it off on my own taxes. But if because I could totally see that the money don't ever even get there anyway. But if the money does get to the charity and does what they say it's supposed to do,
it don't.
If that is happening, I'm still not that bothered by that.
Okay,
whole
but
thing.
you know
Because
that
that's still just giving money to
I
some
know that.
cause. And like
I
you're
know
giving
that.
Taco Bell the credit for it, but I don't give a fuck about the credit for it. They can take the credit for it.
I
don't
do
care.
because it's the reason their CEO gets a fucking raise. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
you
And
get to walk around knowing that you did that. You can tell
I'm
people it's like,
walking around
oh,
with diarrhea. That's what I'm
just
walking around
saying.
with.
I'm just saying the fact that they want
But
to
I
take
do. But the
credit
thing is,
for it.
I do give to charity, like individually. Like
I
I
do
actually
too.
do give to charity, so
I
I
do
don't
that
feel
too.
the need. If I didn't, like, if I wanted to just walk around being like, I don't go individually give to charity. However, I do round up every time I go to McDonald's. Then, like, I would like fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the fucking gall of these motherfuckers, and it's so transparent in our fucking faces. All right, I'm starting to sound like Mark, except for louder. Anyways, hey, speaking of, you were talking about price gouging and how the economy is actually good, and they know this is a video I had last week. I want your opinion on it. Now, by the way, let me actually, you know what? I'm not prefacing it with anything. I'm just showing it to you. Let me click live here. Here you go. I want to know what you think about this.
This is what you get when you order a super fancy cocktail in San Diego, but it's called the Frame because it's served in a huge flask the size of the Mona Lisa. However, this flask isn't just the same size, it also looks exactly like the real one, but with a twist. And you're not only paid for the drink, you're paying for the full experience. So, would you spend $40 on this cocktail experience?
What? That was supposed to look like the Mona Lisa?
That was my first takeaway. Was like, motherfucker,
isn't that what he said? Like it looks just like the Mona Lisa. It's like that ain't the Mona Lisa.
At first, he said it's the same size, and I was like, true.
Bullshit. Like it don't even hit. What is the point of any of that? It's like this Cosmo hits harder because it came out of an AI generated, bullshit Mona Lisa painting. The frame. I bet that frame is from like
Etsy.
Kirk's. What's that furniture?
Kirkland.
Wait, yeah. Is that the Costco thing?
No. Well, yes.
What's the Costco?
There's also
thing?
a Kirkland's furniture. Kirkland is Costco's brand, but there's also a Kirkland furniture.
And they're not related. Okay.
That's a good question.
Anyway, or I don't know. Pier 1. Does Pier 1 do fixture frames and shit?
Yes. Oh, dude. Actually, Pier
go.
1's the one. Pier 1's the one. Oh, you know what, man? I just realized our Pier 1 closed right as I was entering adulthood. I really fucking got lucky there.
Yeah.
Because my wife, a Pier 1 ass bitch. She never got to do it, but I know she would be.
I kind of marvel at the continued existence of any of those stores out in the real world. I mean,
right. When they were a big deal in the 90s, dude.
They were huge, of course, I know. But like when Amazon and online shopping became more and more of a thing, so many places closed down. And when that was happening,
well, they are closing down.
I know, but not. There's still a whole lot of them. I know because I play Funny Bones all the time, which means I'm always in a goddamn suburban shopping center. And they still doing it out here. Yeah. Like there's tons of brick and mortar stores and people do go to them, but it's
a dying thing though.
I don't know. I don't know if it is. I know it was. I feel like it's plateaued is what I'm saying.
Okay.
When that first started happening in the 2000s, in my head, I was like, dude, 20 more years, there won't be none of these left. Okay. Like they're on their way out. But I don't think that's happened. I feel like it's leveled off. And now it's kind of stasis, I think.
You don't think that when like, I know this is a sore subject for you, but like when our mom's generation dies, you don't think that it's going to be like stark? You know what I mean? Like, don't you think that there's just this one generation kind of holding them steady right now, and as soon as they're gone, it's over?
I don't know, dude. Katie goes to places all the time. I mean, mostly just Target, but not only just Target. She goes to Michael's and Hobby Lobby, and she knows Hobby Lobby don't hit, and they don't hit for her. But what are you going to do? She needs something they got there. Then she, and she's a white woman.
You go for your hobbies.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, you can't keep a white woman out of Hobby Lobby for too long. But anyway. She be going places, so who knows? Maybe they'll stick around.
Right.
What
this has
got? So what? We're talking about Genghis, big Genghis.
No, well, we are. I was still talking about that drink. My thing was they when they mentioned it was $40, I thought to myself that like that's actually only 2 drinks in LA, so it's not really that big of a deal.
I mean, that's true. Dude, you stay at a hotel in some of these cities, like not like the Waldorf, like a Hilton, like a nice-ish hotel in any remotely popular American city, and you get a drink at the hotel bar, and it'd be 20. You get one double vodka in some places, and it's almost $40 or something.
Dude, me and Amber when I was opening for Leslie Jones a couple summers ago, no, I guess it was last summer because I had Bane with me. We were at the nicest hotel in Charleston. I mean, I'm talking $850 a night. And by the way, I did not pay for it. Leslie took care of me. You know what I mean? Like,
what was it called?
The Dewberry or something like that.
All right.
The Dewberry.
Because last time I was in Charleston, I stayed in a hotel that used to be an army barracks. It was, did not hit us. I mean, you know, it was fine, but and also, by the way, definitely a slavey army barrack. Like it wasn't, you know, weren't a Union army barracks. I can tell you that much.
Well, let me tell you something about the Dewberry. It was slavey, and I'm pretty sure it's a new building. It's like they made a decision.
Well, I mean, Charleston's pretty slavey.
I know, but it's like it's new, and they were like, we should stick with slave stuff.
Right. Well, it's their whole identity. You know what I mean?
And by the way, it's an awesome hotel. It's a great hotel.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were at the bar, and I was sitting there, and I was ordering a cocktail, and it was like that. It was the same thing as like when that Jacques dude came up to us. He was like, "By the way, that cocktail's $100," and I was like, "Cool, keep my tab open." And Amber goes,
"Was it for real though? Like you had a cocktail that was literally $100?
It was $100."
And what was it? What was special about it?
I can't remember.
Just the liquor that was in it?
Because I'd had several before that. And Amber goes, why are they charging $100? How the fuck are they charging $100 for a cocktail? And I said, Amber, it's because they don't want me here. You know what I mean? It's because they charge that because there's people that for $100 means the same to most people as it does $10. And that's the only people they want hanging out here.
Absolutely.
Like people,
of course.
You know,
that's how that works. Yes.
And I told her, and I was like, and that's why I'm sitting my ass here and getting fucking drunk because they don't want me here. And I could tell, like, I was sitting there trying to cut up with people, and they were like, this fucking shit. And I was just like, I couldn't have been, like, I about cut my fucking sleeves off sitting there. You know what I mean? I was like so excited. I was like, keep them coming. One for everybody. What's up, baby?
I'll be at the, you know, being a Delta Diamond Medallion million miler the way that I am.
Hey,
I get up to.
Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it.
I'm giving you a shot here. I thought you were going to hit the. You ain't hitting the soundboard thing?
Did you not hear it?
No, I still don't hear it. Are you hitting it?
What? You don't hear my soundboard?
No, I don't. This happened before, too. Maybe the audience can hear it. Maybe the audience can hear it. I don't know, but I can't hear it.
I was giving so many sounds.
No,
man, I fucked it up.
I get upgraded to first class all the time, and it's like every now and then, and I'm sure I'm projecting almost.
No,
I
feel
this,
the same way.
But I'm also sure that it does actually happen sometimes. I'm always like tomorrow. I'll be wearing this T-shirt, Tony Campbell's band, Wooden Wire,
the best.
Wire T-shirt, and then and a pair of shorts. You know, like and
with your nasty toes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll have shoes on, but they don't hit.
Your
They're
busted
Brooks
shoes.
They're Brooks shoes. They're like, you know, they're comfortable and offer support. They don't hit. And so I'll be dressed like that, and I'll be standing there, and, you know, there'll be some motherfucker in a blazer or a suit or whatever with a real nice piece of luggage. I've got a backpack on, you know, like sort of behind me, and they call, okay, first class, you know, obviously boards first, not bragging, just saying, zone one, first class, they call that. And, you know, that dude will start to like go by me. Yeah. But I'm like, no. I'm going too.
I'm also going. Stink lines like, coming off of you, and he's like, I clearly go past this guy. You can
just tell they're like, you're right. They're like, no, surely not.
Yeah, right.
But what's funny is like, dude, I'm trailer trash from way back. I'm weird about and around rich people. I think I always will be. But at the same time, and I don't buy first class tickets. I get them given to me for loyalty. Yep. Me neither. So keeping all that in mind, I still will get kind of snobby about it sometimes. Like anytime there's like people, and I have children, but if people have like a baby or a toddler up there and it's being a little shit, I'm just like, this is not supposed to be. I'm sure that's a rich parent and they paid for this or whatever, but you guys you really shouldn't allow this type of thing up here. You know, like I don't say anything, but I think those things.
Oh, me too.
And then I'm like, what are you doing?
You ever see a soldier up there and you're like, oh, I know somebody gay in this seat. You piece of shit. Get back there.
Don't hit. You know Louis used to have that bit about, because I'll see soldiers sometimes and I'll think about what I think about is the Louis bit. I don't think about
giving them the seat. I don't do it.
He's like, yeah, right. He says he'll be on a plane and see a soldier. He's like, I need to give him my first class seat. He's like, I mean, I never do, but the fact that I even think that makes me feel good about myself. Like, that's a nice thought to have. I'm a good person for thinking of. I'd never do it, but anytime I see a soldier on a plane, I think about that. I don't think about doing it. I just think about the bit itself and smile at myself as I put a sleep mask on and recline.
Be like, hey, leave 5 lines here for me when I get up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think it would be demoralizing for them, frankly, if I gave them my seat. You know what I mean?
Why? I may do it one time. I mean, if
they don't want your help. They don't want your help. They don't want your pity.
It's probably true, but if I was ever in the very front row and I saw a soldier,
because you hate the front row,
exactly.
Know you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I was going to say
Comfort Plus. I'll take it.
Exactly. I was going to say all that. I wasn't going to hide any of it.
I just need you to know that I know you.
If I got upgraded to the very front row and I saw a soldier in a hidden Comfort Plus seat, then
even the middle,
do it. No, not the middle. That's not a hidden seat.
You've told me before.
Comfort Plus.
You've told me before that you would rather be in the middle on Comfort Plus than the front on first class. You've told me this before.
Yeah, it's debatable. Yeah, I'm not saying that because I mean, obviously the middle don't hit, but yeah,
the middle row never hits.
Front row, unless you got a lay down situation going on, in which case it don't matter. Obviously, front row ain't it. It's
so funny that I was just talking about these elitist corporate chains, and now I've driven us into a conversation about which part of first class don't hit the most.
Right.
Okay. Well,
but do they know that people know it? There was one time. One time there was a woman who was sitting beside me in the front row, and her son, like 8-year-old son, got put behind us in the second row. And I was like, ma'am, if you'd like me to switch places with your son, that'd be fine. And she was like, no, I'd rather switch places with the person beside him. But that person wouldn't do it. The person, because that person's like, I ain't sitting in the fucking front row.
Yeah, right.
And she told the lady no, and I was like, ma'am, I don't care at all. If the boy wants to sit here, I'll gladly take his seat. And she's like, no. just left her.
I don't want to sit next to my son.
It's like that little motherfucker with his short ass legs. It wouldn't even matter at all. If he's in the front row, it wouldn't bother him a bit.
He can be in the top. You know what I mean? With the bags, wouldn't matter.
Yeah. No.
Well, all right. Well, let's take a quick break. I say quick break. We have a couple ads, and then we will be back to talk about Genghis, Chungus, the Khan. That's what we're going to talk about.
The Great Khan.
Genghis Khan.
Hey, y'all, you ever wondered what might happen if you took your vape, and you just threw that thing in front of a goddamn train? I mean, you probably know what would happen. It'd probably explode, which would be cool, but it might not hit for the train or the person. I think a train could take a vape. Either way, like, you ever just want to just get rid of it because you're like, why do I even do this? This is a bad habit. Well, you might want to find out once you've tried Fume, our next sponsor. We all got bad habits, all right? Mine was the exact kind you think you're doing so well going without, and then suddenly you're out with friends. They start doing their bad habits. It makes you want to do your bad habit. You don't want to be left out. You say, hey, can I bumble in bad habits? Well, what if I was to tell you there's a better alternative that helps you kick your bad habit in an enjoyable way? Something you can still take out with you. I'm talking about Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Flavored air is not the same as vaping. If you compare vapor to sticky soda, Fume cores are more like herbal teas. Fume has many delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and orange vanilla. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. Fume draws the flavor to your mouth. Fume fills the void. Ditching a bad habit can lead. You still got something with you to reach for, and it is not a vape. Fume is not a vape. There's no vapor, so you can use it anywhere. There's no nicotine, so it's not addictive. They have non-toxic flavors. It's completely guilt-free. It takes no batteries. It's not one more thing you got to charge. You never have to charge it, and it looks very cool. It's got a weighted, high-quality design. It's made to fidget with, which helps calm the anxiety that comes with quitting a bad habit. They got magnets, snappers, clickers on it. It's just fun to mess around with on top of all the benefits. Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, and Fume is backed by doctors in the United States. Cho, tell them what you think about it.
Well, Trae, I've got a lot of bad habits, right? You know that about me.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of bad habits, and we've we've been known to abuse things because abusing things often hits. But here's something that you can abuse that is totally fine because it is just flavored air. You're breathing in oxygen, but it tastes really good. I remember the first time I hit my fume, I was like, wait, I've just been raw dogging breath my whole life. This is stupid, because my favorite flavor personally is the orange vanilla, because it's kind of like a British tea that we had when we was across the pole and whatnot, book of balls. The crisp mint is good because it tastes exactly like an old bad habit that I used to have. So it's really easy for me to curb that. You know what I'm saying? But again, Fume continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, so like you don't have to worry about it. They're backed by doctors in the U.S. Like I said, it's not vapor. You can use it anywhere. That's the great thing about it. No nicotine, not addictive, all that stuff that Trae said, and more. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use our code POA to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com and use the promo code POA. And you're going to get a free gift with your order today. How about that? What do you think about that? That's a really good deal, right? It's oxygen, but it's oxygen 2.0. That's what I've named it. That's what it is. It's great. Fume. Skew.
Fellers, they say first impressions are important, but what about lasting impressions, right? Well, that's where Blue Chew comes in. We're talking about wiener impressions. That's right. Blue Chew helps give men longer lasting and stronger, hard wieners so you can perform at your very best. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. The process is very simple. You sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the U.S. of A., prepared and shipped directly to your door. That's the best part of the whole thing. You do it entirely on the computer there. No more visits to the doctor's office, no more awkward dick conversations, no more waiting in line for your wiener pills at the pharmacy and running into your old librarian, none of that. You can keep them anytime, day or night. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead to get down, or you can just be ready to get down whenever an opportunity comes up. Cho, tell them more.
Oh, man, I love Blue Chew. People always ask me, they're like, does it work? And I'm like, God damn, it makes my dick harder than trying to have one potato chip. You know what I'm saying? And, I just realized that all our ads this week are about stuff you put in your mouth. Isn't that wonderful? You don't think you need it? Well, here's the deal. You might not need it, but you'll probably want it because it gives you that extra confidence in the bedroom, all right? Barry Bonds was cracking them out long before the allegations came. It just gives you that little extra oomph to go from pop-up to back. It's gone, baby. Because listen, first impressions are great, but lasting impressions are better. And they say that there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can give you that confidence where it counts. Blue Chew wants you to have the confidence to perform at your best. So discover your options at bluechew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code POA at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code POA to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Skew, Trae.
Skew-wee.
Get
you a new deck.
New deck. There you go. All right, so before we get started, you're going to love this. Before we get started on Genghis Khan, that is, you're going to love this. So I texted one of my conservative buddies. He's a conservative, not a lunatic. He's just a conservative dude. And I texted him earlier because me and him talk about mental health and stuff. And I said, I told him what I told you. I said, I've been depressed and anxious for weeks, and today is such a funny day to have snapped out of it. And he texted me back, you must have seen some retro clips of old George W. Bush this morning. And what's funny is right before I sent that to him, I had literally sent my family group text that video of George W. Bush throwing a strike, and it moved me to tears.
Uh-huh.
He was not wrong.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a lot, and I'm sitting there going, I fucking hate this man, but God damn it, this is what the country needs.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
When you have one of them cries that like just solves everything, like it just washes, like you're like, oh fuck, thank God I got it. I was literally moved to tears. I was like, man, as shitty as that motherfucker is, we did need a strike, and I don't know who else could have done it. I don't know who else could have done it because it was right down the fucking middle, buddy.
I mean, bro, Obama would have smushed that shit too.
Yeah, he would have. You're right.
I mean, he could play basketball.
It's goddamn 3-point shot, sure.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no,
yeah.
You're right. I'm saying I'm saying the people of that moment, like you think Newt Gingrich is going to go in there and bring one down the middle? Fuck no. Like it had to be Rudy. Fuck no.
I mean, I'm not going to say
Al Gore could have done it.
I'm about to say I'm not going to sit here and say that my close personal friend Al Gore couldn't have also done it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's
I'm just saying that's a great moment in American history, regardless. Anyways, Genghis Khan, Trae, you got to start off.
Oh, I mean, he real famous. I think a lot of people know at least some stuff about Genghis. Again, he raped and murdered partner of the whole world back in the day, leader of the Mongolian horde. He didn't fuck around even a little bit. He used to hurl plague-ridden bodies at his enemies, and he'd like kill emissaries all the time, stay killing emissaries if they disrespected him or whatever. And the main thing I've always heard about Genghis Khan, it's funny, it's one of those things, it's like this dude, one of the most prolific mass murderers ever, but in a way that people are like, but you gotta respect that. And one of the ways that is expressed is that I've heard a lot of people say some version of like, well, the thing with Genghis Khan was like, as long as you bent the knee or whatever, as long as you kissed the ring, he'd treat you just fine. In fact, he might improve your life. Like everything was okay. But if you fucked around at all, he would kill your whole city.
Oil them.
Every woman in there, boil everybody alive, leave nothing but scorched earth, and then move on. So it's like, as long as you was cool, he was cool, right? You just had to be cool. That's what I always hear about Genghis Khan.
So I've got my notes here, but since you already brought up a couple things I wanted to touch on, I'll go ahead and get out of order. I don't mind. For anyone listening that just heard Trae, he would chunk plague-ridden bodies at you. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew about that, but just to illustrate how much more fucked up it was, like, so basically, and again, this is something we're going to get to later, but I don't mind saying it now. At one point, Genghis Khan killed 10% of the world population. And by the way, that doesn't count. They're not including the people that he killed from the plague, which he did a lot because, as Trae said, what would happen was if one of his boys, he thought like they look a little plaguey, they would put them in a catapult and just shoot them over the city, and they would just land there and be all dead and stuff. And people would probably be like, we probably need to go address this. And then they'd go over there and they'd breathe their fucking blood fumes in, and they'd get the plague and they'd fucking die. And while we're here, not only did he kill 10% of the population, but in doing so, he reduced the carbon footprint of the world by like 400%. That's how much he killed motherfuckers. And also, as you said, this is a little bit, the way that he went about it is a little bit different than a lot of tyrants back then, because a lot of tyrants would just go, we're going straight to the raping and pillaging. Like we're not, but what he would basically do was he would be going to a different country, and he would be like, hey, he would send one of his boys over and be like, and they would tell him, they were like, hey, by the way, so we finna come in here, and what we're going to do, it will not hit for you. So we're giving you a chance now to just be like, and if you do that, y'all just us now. Y'all will just be us. So just be us, and everything's fine. And a lot of them would go, we are y'all. We are absolutely y'all. That is totally fine. But then sometimes they would be like, no, we don't want to be y'all. And they would go, all right, I fucking told you. And they would come in there and fucking murder the shit out of everybody. But also Genghis would during battle and stuff, he would be very analytical about like everybody on the battlefield. And he would notice like people from the other side that hit. And he'd be like, man, that guy's really fucking good. And he'd like go get him and be like, hey, by the way, just be us, just be my archer, and you're good. You know what I mean? And that's how he like sort of built his army. But the thing about Genghis Khan is, number one, not his real name. His real name, he was born as Temujin. He was born as Temujin, and the reason that he was born as Temujin is because his father was also a great warrior, and his father had taken over this Mongol tribe or something. And the leader of that Mongol tribe was named Temujin. And on the day Genghis Khan was born, he takes over this place. And in their tradition, when you take over a place, you take everything. So he took this man's name and goes, you ain't even that no more. My son is that. I take your fucking name. I take your wife. I take everything. Because that was their deal. Like, you conquer somebody, that dude has, even if you don't, like, sometimes he didn't kill him. He'd just be like, by the way, you're going to be in my army, but your wife is no longer your wife. She is my wife. I have thousands of wives, and that is totally cool.
I think about that sometimes, about like I mean, we talk all the time about how the past don't hit, but like,
No, past don't hit, but it's fun to talk about.
but in the day, like where you just live your life, and it's like maybe you get to the ripe old age of 32 and everything's fine.
That was literally the life expectancy during this time, 32.
Yeah, right. But then over the horizon one day, a goddamn horde shows up.
Yep.
It don't hit for a horde. You don't want that. You don't want a horde show, a whole ass horde. And it's like, what are you going to do? Nothing. Get stabbed to death, drugged to death, quartered, something terrible while your wife gets brutally raped in front of you and your children are enslaved. And it's like that used to happen to people all the time. And it's like, a lot of times I'm like, it's wild that any peasantry thing made it through without that having had happened to them.
Well, they kind of didn't.
They
kind of didn't. Like that was just kind of like it was going to happen. Like
the Vikings, the way they used to act and be, like they just roll up on you, and then it was over. You know, like out of nowhere. You don't even know Vikings exist. You're just there in the Highlands of Scotland or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if they went up. That's surely. I know they went on the island of the UK. What's Britain? The island of Britain.
Yeah, Britain. Yeah.
And fucked a bunch of shit up. But it's like just from across the sea, from beyond the abyss, these crazy motherfuckers with horns on their helmets and long hair, can't read, jacked all the fuck, just come in there and wreck your shit. Like, it's wild to think about. Like, none of us have to worry about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, whatever, gang violence or burglars and shit like that, sure, every now and then somebody gets serially killed. But it ain't like that.
It's an anomaly.
Yeah, right.
I was reading an NPR piece like on this time period for like I wish I could send you an URL, but I can't. It's something I read and I fucking forgot who it was that even wrote it. But they were basically talking about how like back then, don't get me wrong, it didn't ever hit to get kidnapped and be raised by another tribe and never see your family again. But there was less trauma about it back then because you were basically raised to assume it would happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't hit, but like from your early years, it was inbred in you to be like, look, one day some crazy horn-helmeted motherfucker will come here and take you because you're highborn, and they will rape you and make you their princess liege. You know what I mean? And they were just like, oh, that won't hit, but at least I know. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like playing cards. Like it's just fucked up. But anyways.
And if he's sexy enough, then it'll hit for people.
Right.
You know, when you'll eventually
later
fall in love with him. You know, if he looks like Jason Momoa and is that type of mongol, then, you know, even if he rapes you kind of sort of a little bit, it'll hit for you and it'll be fine because, you know, he's sexy and dark-eyed and stuff.
It'll definitely hit for our wives.
When I know, right? It's like that whole thing was always wild, you know. And in the books, Danny's supposed to be like 14 years old or something. She's like 13 or 14, and he way more explicitly rapes her at first in the book.
Yeah, it's bad.
But then the rest of it still goes the same way. Like she still, you know, she still falls for him and all that shit. Anyway, what are you gonna do? You'll have that. Go ahead.
You will have that. So he was born the day that his father's name was Yesegwe. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but his father had just taken over, you know, this clan or whatever, and they immediately knew like this kid is going to be the shit. And the reason is because there was a sign from the gods when he was born. This kid was born, and in his hand he was clutching what turned out to be a blood clot. But like he has this blood clot in his hand, and he's like holding his hand like this, and when he opens it, they just see this blood clot, and they're like, he's holding the world in his hand. He's gonna be so like he just had a blood clot.
Yeah, that's some pretty classic peasant shit right there. I get how that is wild seeming, but not though. I don't feel like the world is a bit of a leap, you know. I thought you were gonna say like something's heart, but in my head I was like, but what's heart? Not his own heart. His like twin brother's heart.
No,
you know,
it was just
he murdered his twin in the womb and ripped his heart from his, you know, his.
No, he does
chest.
that, but it's later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not in the womb. But no, he had a blood clot in his hand. So like this kid, he's going to fucking rule the world, you know, which is it's honestly very similar to what Danny and him said about
the stallion will mount the world. Yeah, the fucking, oh my God, what are they called? The Dothraki. The Dothraki are based on the Mongolians and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything in those books he pulled
is based
from
on real world
some real shit. War of the Roses,
Yeah.
the Mongolian Horde, all that type of stuff. So yeah, go ahead.
So here's the deal on his father. His father was like kind of a great warrior. So like back then though, they had like this sort of understanding. But now you got to understand this too. Like a lot of this is happening amongst Mongol tribes. So it's not necessarily like his father's going to take over another nation. Mongolia itself was separated into a shit ton of tribes. So a lot of this was just like, I want these tribes to come together, so I'm going to come take over this tribe. So it would be like, like the South taking over the Midwest. You know what I mean? Like, no, we should all be together, and I'm going to fucking rape your wife if you don't believe me, And so his father was sort of a badass, but they also had this thing that was like understood where it's like, even if it's in times of war, if your enemy comes to you and is like, hey, I'm tired, you're supposed to like put them to bed and feed them. And like, there's like a truce. Like, hey, I know, but I'm tired and I'm just trying to chill. Can we hang out? And they'd be like, yeah, of course, truce, whatever. We have to harbor our enemy because we're still peaceful people. So his father goes to this tribe that he had been kind of fucking with, but he was like, fucking parlay or whatever. And they were like, yeah, parlay. Well, they poisoned him. They poisoned his ass. They poisoned him. And so this is when Temujin, who would grow up to be Genghis Khan, was about 9 years old. So he's 9 years old. His dad dies.
Comic book origin story, right?
It's such a comic book origin story.
Got to have the dead parents, obviously, as the motivator. Yeah.
He's 9 years old, and his dad dies, which of course naturally means that his dad's wife is now his wife. Because that's
wait, his mom,
his stepmom.
Okay. Right.
His stepmom, the woman that birthed him, I'm not sure if it was like he had left her or she had died. It's honestly like it's most likely she probably died because people just died back then.
Yeah, especially she had a bunch of blood clots up in there alongside.
Right.
Him,
but Mongolians, like, and a lot of people back then, it's not just the Mongolians, but like especially leaders, ruthless, brutal motherfuckers, like they had harems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So like Genghis Khan, this is a little flash forward, but Genghis Khan actually was married to the same woman for his entire life. But as we all know, he still fathered 25 million motherfuckers. But he was like,
we talked about harems at one point. I don't know if we talked about Genghis's harem. I think we were talking about Ottoman harems, but just harems in general and how they pretty wild. I think there should be some kind of HBO show, some sort of show about it because like there's all them women. There's a shitload of high drama in those harems because like, a harem person's kid could be a potential heir, but if he's not, they would like kill each other's babies all the time.
Yes.
Shit like that.
Well,
like they did not hit for each other. They'd form alliances. All this. It's just good fodder for a TV show, in my opinion. I'm kind of surprised. Maybe there has been one. Maybe I don't know.
Not specifically about that because I remember we talked about it in the Henry VIII episode, which was like literally the first episode of this podcast. And when I think I brought up the fact that like Henry VIII's mistress we think of mistress now as like, that's a woman you don't tell your wife about, but that wasn't how it was back then. Like mistress was an official title. Like mistress, his wife knew he had a mistress. This is my official mistress. She had health care. Her kids were taken care of. She had a title. Like it was a whole thing. Like I'm the king. I have my wife. I've also got my mistress. And then on top of that, he might fuck around with somebody that he don't tell you about. But like mistress was like an official thing. What are you looking at? You look like a gorilla.
Me?
Yeah.
What
you
are
like
going? There was a show called Harem, and I thought I knew that, but it looks like it's an Israeli show, so I probably wouldn't have never had no dealings with that. And I think it's actually about a sex cult, not a literal harem. So yeah, somebody worked like a harem show
about fucking Genghis Khan in Mongolia.
Yeah, well, now one of Netflix's first big productions was a Genghis Khan show, and it was good. It was good, but
there was a Genghis Khan show that I missed.
Yeah, it's funny because it was called Marco Polo, who of course also is famous.
That's what that show's about.
Yes, Marco Polo.
I just thought it was about Marco Polo.
Well, why wouldn't you think that? I mean,
what a fucking dumbass.
Well, it is about Marco Polo, but it's specifically about the years that Marco Polo spent with. Actually, maybe it's Kubla.
I didn't know Marco Polo was from the 1200s.
No, he was.
I thought he was from like the 14 or 1500s. I believe you, by the way.
It actually, I think it wasn't Genghis Khan. I think it was Kubla. You know Kubla? He also
Kubla Khan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Kublai
think
Khan
it
hit
was
real hard.
I think it was Kublai Khan maybe that Marco Polo hung out with, which like did really happen in history, but that's what the show was about. But anyway, I think. But yeah, so you remember that show. You ain't watch it though?
No, because I mean,
It was
look,
all right. It wasn't
I'm not
bad.
saying Marco
Yeah,
Polo don't hit for me.
Kublai Khan, played by Benedict Wong, by the way, who always
Ah,
smashes.
okay. Today, I was watching a fucking video on YouTube. It was a TED Talk. It was a TED Talk about fucking Genghis Khan. And in it, they showed some like stock footage of a bunch of shit. And I was like, was that Benedict Wong? and I guess it was from that show. Benedict Wong rules.
Yeah, he's great.
Anyway, so Genghis Khan's dad dies. And of course, they're like, well, this 9-year-old, this is your fucking wife, your stepmom or whatever. And it was basically how it worked out was like he was supposed to be the leader of this Mongolian tribe, but all these people were like, dude, fuck that. He's 9. Which, like, I kind of respect because, like, in Britain, in a lot of places, they're like, let the 9-year-old do it, but they were like, no, he's 9. That ain't it. And so their family was sort of like ostracized and they faced a lot of hardship. And this was when Genghis, Temujin, before he became Genghis, got his like first taste of blood. He killed his brother or his stepbrother, I think, because he caught his stepbrother hoarding food. And he was like, fuck you, we're all about to die here. And he stabbed him and fucking killed him. So then at age 13, Temujin was betrothed to Borte, which was a woman from a different Mongolian tribe, which was like strengthening his alliance because in his mind, he was like, listen, guys, Mongolia should take over the fucking world. And the reason that we're not doing it is because there's like 19 Mongolias. There should be one Mongolia. And so that's when he started going to people and being like, I don't want to decimate your entire way of life. Just say you'll be me. And if you say you're me, then we'll go take this other town and get them to be us. But if you say that you ain't me, then you're them, and I'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? And then
that's another thing that's wild about the whole Khan deal is that they're Mongol. We all know they're Mongolians. It's a Mongolian horde, but dude, Mongolia has not otherwise like the fact that Mongolia specifically, and I'm not casting no aspersions here, but the fact that that country or those people specifically very nearly took over the whole goddamn world.
Dude,
is wild because Mongolia is known for being like, it's literally, I think, the most sparsely populated country in the world. It's mostly just like rugged, high terrain, and like it's not a place of abundance, is what I'm saying. And it's not a place where like people have it easy. It's
no, and
like,
they weren't even an agriculturally led people. Like that's what most
it couldn't
like
be.
that,
they're like no matter that you can't really grow a lot of shit.
But
there.
that's what. But like back in the day, that was what most of like when you're like invading people was like continue your agricultural process and do all this shit. He was just like I got like it was literally the Kendrick Lamar like I wish my dick was as big as the Eiffel Tower so I could fuck the world for 72 hours. This is what Genghis Khan was on, right?
It's also kind of that. The Greyjoy thing, which I think that's supposed to be Viking shit.
Yeah.
But either way, same. We do not sow is what I mean.
Right.
They don't like. That's why they had to take everything over because they didn't have a whole lot of stuff.
And this is for later. And I'm now I just looked at the clock and I realized that I may have to do a part 2, which is totally fine. But before I get to that. Oh fuck! I just lost my place. We were talking about them fucking ruling everybody. Him being with the Mongolians or whatever. Dude, Genghis Khan in his time, his kingdom. This would be like this is what somebody said. It would be like right now if Polynesia took over America.
Right.
It should not have happened.
Right.
Like, so, like, again, like, I know we talked about Hitler earlier, but it is one of those things where you have to go, dude, fuck this guy. However, man, how the fuck, like, tenacity. Like, you got to at least go, damn, like, he did some shit because he actually, dude, like, I'll get to, well, I have it right here actually in my notes. So in 1186, he was elected Khan of the Mongols. This is after I said he had gotten everybody together and said, guys, listen. We are, it's like that whole fucking Robert Baratheon when he goes, what's more powerful, 5 or 1? 5, 1. You know what I mean? Like we need to be one. He convinces him to do that. They elect him the Khan of the Mongols, and he took the name Genghis Khan, which means universal ruler. But a lot of people are saying this actually was more like Chinggis or Chungus or something like that. And in only 25, I'll end here, and then we'll do airmail, and we'll get out of here because I've got like miles of notes on this. But I want to end on this because this is insane. In only 25 years, he conquered more land than Rome did in 400 years.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, I knew they had it like that, but yeah, I mean, that's wild when you put it that way.
Crazy, man. Because, like, again, Mongolia was not shit.
No,
like they weren't shit. And this guy, I'm not praising him. Like, he's an asshole. He fucking killed 10% of the world. And a lot of stuff that I'm going to get to next week. But, like, you got to sit there. This is why I say when they put up the headline, genius or madman, I go, it's both.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean? Or? What do you mean or? A simple madman shoots up a movie theater. You know what I mean? And then they get killed by the fucking cops. A genius takes Mongolia and creates an empire the size of Africa. That's what a genius does. And I think that we have, like, as a people, we have put it to everybody that, like, the word genius somehow means good. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, dude.
There's plenty of people, geniuses, yeah.
Dude, like, genius literally just means you have an IQ of 160.
Right.
There's plenty of fucking assholes that have an IQ of 160. Plenty. Anyways.
I mean, I think, well, I guess I ought not say that. I think a lot of genius level or above people are actually kind of assholes because they're, like, disconnected from the rest of the world, humanity so much. They're like being so much smarter than other people. They can't empathize with them. You know what I mean? They're like, these people don't hit. I know what's best for these people.
They have to mask if they want to seem like a nice.
It's kind of like it was sort of characterized in the newest season of The Boys in that new character. What's her name? The black girl. That's the smartest person alive. What's her fucking?
I can't remember, but she lobotomized herself and fucked the deep.
But she's like that.
Yeah,
like
she hates everybody.
That's part of her deal, and it's like, I find that very believable.
Well, I mean,
I'm doing a bit right now about how, all your smart friends are miserable and ruin everything, and it's like, and your dumb friends always hit,
Right. I mean, dude, I'm talking
about the boys and the school.
No, I know you're talking about me, and that's fine.
I'm talking about private school, public school, and I talk about the boys. And then towards the end of it, I'm like, really, I don't even know if I want them to be smart the more that I think about it. Because
you want to be right. You want to be right in that fucking clique where it's like they're smart enough to take care of themselves, but not too smart to not have a good time at a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So now you talking about yourself. Anyway.
Yes, I am. And I feel that way because, like, I say this all the time, like, in our text group, I'm the fucking dumbass. But in my text groups with my Chickamauga friends, I'm the genius I'm the genius who is always going, who the fuck are y'all? Like, why am I here? Like, I feel that way all the time, and I just have to mask. And that's why you drink. Like, you remember your bit was like, this is liquid stupidity, and we're all chasing that retard dragon, baby. Like, all the time, I'm like when I'm hanging out with my sister and her friends who are the dumbest people on earth, I don't even do it. I'm miserable. I'm like, I'm up in my brain playing chess and y'all are just fucking playing with yourselves. What are you doing? Anyways, we have some great airmail this week, Trae.
I can't decide if I want it. I had 3 things for you, but it's hit for me.
Oh, go ahead.
Because no. Like you said, now I don't have to
mind if the show goes
I do.
long.
I don't want it. Yeah. No, I'd rather save them. There's one, though, that I can't decide if I want to read it to you. I feel like it should be maybe.
Is it mail?
No, it's kind of mail. A patron sent it to me.
Read it. So they deserve to. Go to patreon.com/Trae Crowder and you'll get your shit read.
I know. I wasn't going to not read it. I just didn't want to bury it at the end. But people listen to our whole episodes.
They do. Of course they do. We hit.
This is an article from NBC News from January of 2022. I'm going to read the headline to you.
Okay.
Alabama man accused of keeping meth-fueled attack squirrel faces new charges. All right. This man, named Mickey Polk, was arrested in 2019 after authorities received a tip about an allegedly drugged squirrel. Aside from the rodent, police found body armor and meth. It's not going to read the whole thing, but it says the trial of an Alabama man accused by police of keeping an attack squirrel that he made more aggressive by giving it methamphetamine has been delayed as he faces new charges. They also found body armor and meth in his house. The man is 38 years old, was charged with the possession of a wild animal, stolen property, and weapon possession by a felon. And they have a picture of the attack squirrel, and I really wish it looked way more methed out than it does. I can show it to you. I mean, sure, it's disappointing because it just looks like a squirrel. I don't know if this is after they've rehabilitated the squirrel.
Yeah.
If they put him through squirrel rehab.
He's still scratching the fucking thing.
Right, like put him through squirrel rehab, detox already, or if that squirrel is currently methed up. I don't know. But
he's thinking about 38 Special right there.
But like, what do you think he was doing do you think he was just like, this squirrel hits for me, meth hits for me, meth will hit for him too? Like I give my squirrel meth. Like
have you ever hung out with a meth head?
Blow smoke in their dog's face, weed smoke and shit. No, weed hits. It's like,
have you ever hung out with a true meth head?
And a squirrel? Yeah, for sure.
They think
some
like
of the same
that.
ones that you have.
Yeah, they think like that. You know what I mean? Like they think like that. They're like, I bet meth would hit for my squirrel.
Yeah,
and I'm not shitting on them. Like here's the deal:
catching a squirrel is some meth behavior too.
I bet you. But also, by the way we define it, I bet meth did hit for that squirrel because, and can I tell you why?
Meth hits. Yeah.
Meth hits. Not a popular opinion, but as I've said in my stand-up, there's not a lot of people going, damn, I don't have teeth or a family, but at least that drug sucks. Like, it's fun.
People are lying to themselves about meth. Meth hits so hard. Meth got so stigmatized and vilified. And look, I'm not saying not for good reason, but like,
don't do meth.
Everybody love Adderall, right? Adderall is basically meth, whether you like that or not. It's true.
Yeah.
And then also a lot of people for a while were doing, Drew had a bit about this. We're doing like Molly, like white trash people were doing Molly. And it's like, that shit wasn't Molly. Every now and then some of it was, but it was like, it was meth. It was fucking meth that people were calling Molly. And everybody was taking it. It's like, God, this shit hits, and it's like,
meth.
But you don't want to admit that you did meth
is.
or whatever. But like meth is, amphetamines in general, they hit for all kinds of people.
This is
it's
why
just
I've
meth is associated with trailer monsters and stuff, so people don't want no part of it. But like, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be the way it is if it didn't hit.
It's another thing. There's many reasons for me to respect the gay community at large, but like the gay community at large has always been like, no, meth hits.
Meth does
what I mean? Like,
shoot it into your dick, take some poppers, fucking get wild. Yeah.
Like, as hoity-toity as some people think the gay community is with like their Mona Lisa and their all the Banksy shit, it's like they also were on the forefront of being like, "No, we take meth and fucking butt like it is."
Sure do.
All right, airmail subject line: methed out squirrel runs rampant in Alabama.
What?
I'm kidding,
dude. I thought you were serious for a second.
I'm kidding.
I mean, it wouldn't have been that surprising if the same patron just sent this to you too, in case I didn't see it.
I was just trying to. An email is going to be good when it starts off like this. Subject line: what the fuck, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
And the Holocaust in the Balkans was way worse than you think. All right, I'm so glad to know this wasn't all about me. Last episode had the best cold open of the series so far. You have no idea how much that means to me because I chose it, and Trae said I was an idiot for doing it.
Not because, like, I don't think it's engaging podcasting or whatever.
Then what am I supposed to do? What am I doing here? What is my job, Trae?
I was making fun of you being like, I don't know, just your attitude about the whole thing was and remains funny.
Yeah, okay. My attitude as an entertainer on an entertainment podcast remains that this will be the most engaging way to start out this podcast. I'm sorry, Trae, but the reason that I'm going to make it is because my brain thinks this way. And my thing, I'll say to you, look, obviously they're talking about, she said, Corey telling his pro 9/11 story and Trae going, what? Okay, maybe still 9/11 doesn't hit for y'all, but that story was fucked up. I agree. I agree that story was fucked up. But I maintain that I would be a worse person if I kept it to myself. I am more than fine with exposing the skeletons in my closet for your fucking enjoyment because that is what being an entertainer is, Trae. Selfless acts of admission Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. To the point, y'all talked briefly about the Holocaust in Serbia and how the Serbs don't hit for the Nazis, but the story is worse than you think. That was pretty bad, what I thought. While some Balkan can and hopefully will give you a more detailed story, there was this movement called the Usitasi, a very non-hitting Croatian nationalist movement that pretty much slaughtered Serbs left and right during the World War II and what was then the independent state of Croatia and the rest of the area. If your stomach can handle it, it's a pretty gruesome tale, even by World War II standards. Granted, the state was a Nazi puppet state. The Nazis certainly did their own share of slaughtering in the Balkans, and they deserve no respect at all. Hey, nice, Rodney bit there. But the Usitasi and their methods even had the Nazis go, damn, ease up a little. Y'all have mentioned how one should live their life as if there isn't a Hitler section in their Wikipedia page, but the Genocide of Serbs Wikipedia page has a children's concentration camp section in theirs. It's bleak, y'all, but of course, that's just the World War II part. You can use my name if you read. This is Eero Kivinen. I hope I said that right, Eero. If I didn't, please send me a message and tell me how to pronounce it.
You know who else made the Nazis go, God damn, in World War II was the Japanese. It's true.
I know.
I didn't know that the Croats did that, but Nazis
Hero or whatever that dude
had
was.
to put a stop to some of the shit Japan was doing. I've always thought Japan, it's because we're just so Western, like we East blind in the West.
We are
like,
so East blind, dude.
We just don't pay any attention or give any fucks at all.
Genghis Khan's a perfect example of that.
For what the East has had going on, Eastern history, Eastern anything. And I guess that's the only reason. Maybe it's not anything more nefarious, but the more over the years that I've learned about like what the Japanese was doing during World War II, it's like they almost get a pay. I don't know. It's also I bet it's that plus the guilt that we have for killing that god and bombing all them two cities and stuff. Like,
and they be cutting tuna right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
it's like y'all better keep cutting
Japan
that fucking tuna.
Rules and hits, but it's like, but I feel like a whole lot of people still to this day don't realize the type of shit they was doing in World War II, and it's like it's approaching Nazi again. There literally were Nazi Germans like who were sent over there because their allies were in Japan who had to be like, "Yo, you need to chill with this shit. This is fucking crazy." Like that literally happened. So
I think about that all the time when me and my wife have an argument because every big fight me and my wife have had, and she will tell you this, has been when not every big fight, but a lot of them is when, and it's my fault, but I'm the Americans in this scenario, and she's the Japanese. It's when she did something wrong and I responded poorly. You know what I mean?
Too.
And so I respond poorly, and all of a sudden now it's all my fault. And I'm like, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Can we get back to the reason I was screaming? Because that wouldn't have even happened if you didn't do that shit.
Well, that's a classic move. That's a classic move right there.
That's my move is I Hiroshima everything, and now it's all on me. And she didn't do a goddamn thing. You know, anyways, one more and we'll get out of here. We haven't heard from her in a long time. And I thought that we had to. This is our friend. She's a patron on yours. She's a hero on my hero. It is our gastroenterologist, however you say that, friend, Dr. Kim Casado. Subject line, a Coke and a smile. Greetings, Corey and Trae. Keep in mind that when Corey starts talking about turd shape, which digresses into mental gymnastics regarding butthole physiology, and we viewers can almost visualize the neural pathway connections occurring in Corey's noggin as he contemplates a glass bottle being maneuvered into the rectum backward. Y'all know I have some comments. I have seen some pretty lax anal orifice in my profession, perfectly capable of accommodating the average glass Coca-Cola bottle. Granted, the discipline required to relax one's anal sphincters, yes, there are actually two. What? They two buttholes? We got two buttholes, bro.
I think it's two.
We knuckles.
Yeah. I think it's two. No. Tails was the one with the two buttholes. Knuckles is the one with four dicks.
This guy knows how to party, huh?
Stoney knows how to party. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's from a roast I did 15 years ago. But, yeah.
As Mario.
I think we've got two. Our butthole got two rings in it. Ring, not holes. Like, I think there's like, An inner
Which one
ring
I've
and
been
an outer
living?
ring of a butthole muscle.
Okay.
That's what I think. Obviously, we don't have two buttholes. You know, if you had two buttholes, you think.
Well, I thought I would.
Do you think that the other butthole's inside of your main butthole, like up?
I thought one was like for diarrhea only. Yeah, it's like this is my diarrhea butt.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, there are two, to such a degree as to allow the insertion of an item 5.6 centimeters.
Dude, hold on. Wait, this is so stupid. I just pictured in my head, like, what if I'm sorry for this.
No, please.
What if butts like made sounds like when you throw up, like you know what I mean, like hurling? No, yeah, right. Yeah, your butt just that way
because one of your buttholes could smell the other butthole, and it was like,
yeah. Oh God, so dumb. I just pictured that in my head.
Just one butthole being like, "What's that other butthole on, man? Goddamn, it's fucking rough."
Anyway, what'd she say? Dr. King.
To such a degree as to allow the insertion of an item 5.6 centimeters in diameter would likely require substantial practice and preparation, such as deep breathing, meditation, yoga, and perhaps some exercises with smaller items at first. See my previous email about the New Orleans Pharmacy Museum regarding anal dilators. I didn't even see that email. Sent January 20th. Bitch got receipts.
She's got a spreadsheet.
Dude, she stay having spreadsheets. Mm-hmm. Like, listen, Kim, goddamn you crazy. Including a link to said museum. So yes, Trae, unlikely to be Dorde Martinikov's first butthole rodeo, but I can.
That's what I said. I was about to say.
Fucking funny.
I was just about to say. I'm pretty sure. I was sitting here. I was waiting until you finished to be like, well, no shit. He had a lot of practice, Kim. As I believe I said, this weren't his first butthole rodeo. Like clearly, like.
Oh, so she's funny because she's quoting you. That checks out.
Yes,
she still is funny though.
She is. Yes,
but I can confirm that once he got to this level, he would not need to start each pleasure session with smaller items, but rather could begin with whichever diameter he found got him to glory fastest, if that was his intent. Of note, I did not, by the way, there's two more paragraphs. I'm going to read them. Of note, I did not acquire this knowledge de novo when I became a gastroenterologist, but only had my understanding confirmed after doing several thousand rectal exams, years before I even considered GI as a specialty. I had a gay friend.
And his butthole was wore out, boy. You wouldn't believe it.
Long before. I even thought about doing this as a job.
Yeah.
I had a gay friend. I was like, fucking, I got to see it.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
You got to know.
I had a gay friend, an undergraduate at UVA, who described the ideal dick he would desire in a sexual partner as a Coke can with an apple on it. God damn. God damn. Pretty impressive. That and seeing what my father left in the commode on the occasion that he forgot to flush convinced me early on of the anal sphincter's dilatory capabilities. I did enjoy Corey discussing how turds taper as they are expelled, and got a chuckle later in the pod while hinting about next week's show subject. He exclaimed, "You will never believe what's inside of me that needs to come out." Hopefully this means that Corey has been taking his Metamucil as prescribed. Love y'all, Kim, the GI doc, which she didn't know. I actually did start taking Metamucil after this email, and it hit. That's it. Puttingonairs@gmail.com. Email us. Trae, where you going to be? Jesus Christ.
Close with the big old buttholes every time, baby.
What are you gonna do?
Never fails. Tonight and tomorrow, I'm at the famous Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak, Michigan. And Sunday, I'm in Lansing. And then next week, me and our old buddy, denizen of the Skuniverse, Travis Irvine, will be taking a trip through Ohio together, stopping off at pretty much every major city I got except Cleveland. Sorry, Cleveland. I will be back to see you in the future. Then after that, I got Bristol and Atlanta and a bunch of other fun stuff in the fall. I'm burning the road up. Come see me at TraeCrowder.com. Make a hit.
This Friday, I'm in Center, Alabama with my buddy Cassio Kidd. October 11th, I will be in Atlanta with the legendary George Wallace doing comics for Kamala. Other than that, you can go to WeLoveCorey.com and check out my bonus stuff. My latest for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is out right now. And other than that, stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew.
Skew.
Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at putting on airs, putting on airs, putting on airs.